right? And I thought, I met a woman, she's pregnant, and her doctor prescribed a medication. She's got coverage, she's got health benefits, but her coverage doesn't cover the medication she needs. So she's paying hundreds of dollars a month for this medication that she needs to take. She's also feeling the weight and the burden of it. And I think about the families that I meet that put off dental care. I meet so many people that say, you know what, it costs too much, I'm just not gonna do it. Kids that need dental care don't get it because their families can't afford it. And again, I think about the country as wealthy as ours, a healthcare system that covers you when you need to get open heart surgery, but if you walk into the surgery, if you walk into the emergency room because your teeth are hurting, there's no help. And I think about families or young people that are worried about the environment. They're worried about our planet. And they're demanding that leaders take action because leaders have let them down. And they're also worried about the future. We just saw climate action where thousands of kids took to the streets demanding action. And I think about all these stresses that people are going through. The fact that families can't afford childcare, they can't get the health care they need. And I think about, well, what choices do they have? Well, we know that there's the liberal option. And Mr. Trudeau, he says a lot of nice things. I'll admit that. He says a lot of nice words. But has he delivered on the real action that he promised?
No.
Right? And I think about one of the biggest shames. He's talked about his relationship with Indigenous people. He said that was the most important relationship. And he said that again and again. And then recently, over the past couple of years, the Human Rights Tribunal found that he had contravened the basic rule that Indigenous kids should get equal funding. He broke that, and they said, well, you've got to pay up. You've got to make sure Indigenous kids get equal funding. And there was one order that he ignored, a second order, 4 orders that he ignored, and then recently, there was a landmark decision that said, pretty obviously, that Indigenous kids should get equal funding. And guess what Mr. Trudeau did with that landmark decision?
Took it back to court.
He's taking Indigenous kids back to court.
Shame.
And then for families that can't find housing, he said a lot. He promised that he would invest in housing, and then we researched the promise. Guess what? It turns out that his commitment to invest in housing is actually 19% less than what Mr. Harper invested. So Mr. Trudeau is actually putting less money in housing than the Conservative government. And so I look at the decisions he's making, and I'm saying, you know what? The pretty words and the nice promises aren't really backed up with action.